Okay, I should be live here. Just give me 1 second and we'll go ahead and get this thing kicked off and started. Let me do a couple things real quick. I don't think anyone's here, so I ought to be all right. We're not talking about anything in particular today, obviously. Nothing in the news. There we go. All right, get that echo. All right, just 1 second. Okay, I should be good now. All right, so yesterday, obviously, somebody shot Donald Trump. They shot him in the ear, tried to shoot him in the head. It was a very, very near miss. And it's kind of crazy, Nothing like this has ever happened in my life. Probably the life of most of you people, unless you're old enough to remember when Reagan was shot. I mean, I guess we've seen political figures get shot, but not like presidents or former presidents. Seems like a much bigger deal. We've seen a few Congress people get shot. A couple of them. There was the congressional baseball shooting. Some leftist socialist guy, universal health care guy, went and shot up a bunch of Republicans at the baseball game. There was what's her name? Is it Gifford, whatever. She was shot apparently. That was a long time ago. I don't even know how long ago. How long ago was that? Was that like 2011? I don't even know. Oh wait, it had to be. I mean, maybe 2014. I don't know. It was a long freaking time ago, and they're Congress people. This is a totally different thing. It's pretty wild. I can't say it's that shocking. It's almost shocking that something like this hasn't already happened, given the the level of the rhetoric around this, where they've just been calling Trump Hitler and saying it's going to be the end of democracy, the end of the country, uh, all of this stuff. Like he's pure evil. It's going to be all your rights are going to be taken away. Women are going to be second class citizens. It's going to be like hell on earth if this man's elected. And like they're not like exaggerating. They're going on like the news channels and saying verbatim basically what I just did. So it's not shocking that some nutcase would try and take him out. And I don't know for sure that that's like the reason why. It could have just been that this guy was like seeking fame, just a crazy guy wanted to be famous. I think he had to be at least a little off his rocker, a little off his nut. Maybe not. Maybe if he was like rational and he just really bought into the like this is the end of democracy thing, and this just makes rational sense to do because now it looks like Trump's going to win, and there's only one way to stop him. So maybe he wasn't crazy. I don't know. I really don't. But my assumption is he bought into that kind of rhetoric and went to go kill him. Again, he could be some lunatic, like the guy that just lit himself on fire out in front of Trump's court case. That guy was just insane. He was totally mental. I doubt it though. It just feels like he was kind of politically active. The things they know about this guy, he was like 20 years old. 20 years old. He was from that area. He was a registered Republican and he donated to like some Democrat super PAC or something. I think it was Act Blue or I don't know. He donated to some Democrat left wing organization, which is, I would say you're pretty politically involved and active person if you're like a registered member of a party. And I guess it's different in other states. So maybe he had to register to vote in the primary or something. I don't really know. Um, but the fact that he's donating money to like campaigns and stuff too, I've never done anything like that. I'm not a registered member and never have been of any party because in Texas you don't have to be to vote in primaries. And I've never donated money to like a political campaign. So I feel like he's pretty politically active, but who knows? I guess more stuff will come out about that. I think the reaction to it's been pretty interesting. There was a lot of conspiracy theories immediately, of course, on Twitter. I saw a lot of things like trending right after, like BB gun. a bunch of people were trying to say he was shot with a BB gun, like right after this happened, which was kind of crazy to me. I don't know. I saw the video and instantly knew he had been shot with a gun. There was like no question in my mind about that. You could hear it. Sounded like a gun, didn't sound like a BB gun. Have you ever shot a fucking BB gun? It doesn't make that much noise. And maybe they were talking about like pellet guns. There's some pellet guns that do make like a loud pop, but you're not gonna. They're usually ones that you have to like pump up. You're not gonna be shooting like several shots. That's like pop, 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 and on top of that, it's not as loud as a, a normal gun. It just sounded like a fucking gun. Like, have you ever heard a gunshot in your life? Maybe not. I don't fucking know. I have. I've shot a lot, so maybe I'm different. I don't know. It sounded exactly like a fucking gun to me. Brought a guy on. I think I was watching it on NBC, and he was some supposed expert or something. I don't know if he was in the military or what this guy's deal was, but they were asking him questions about like what weapon this could have been and stuff. And he was like, "Well, it could have been a rifle or something. It may have been sim rounds, which are, if you don't know, this is insanely stupid. Sim rounds are like things you use in the military, in the army, they're almost like paintballs, but not quite. They're non-lethal and they're shooting. It's basically like chalk, so it leaves like a little mark. And they hurt. Like they hit you really hard. It'll leave welts and stuff. If you did get hit in the ear, yeah, you'd probably bleed, or the face. You wear face masks if you use them, like with paintball. And they make noises, but again, it's not nearly as loud as like an actual bullet, because it's using, I think it's compressed, some type of compressed gas in each cartridge. But again, it was a stupid fucking. It didn't. They don't sound like that, for one thing. If he was an expert, he would know that. And two, why the fuck would anybody use a sim round for any reason at all to intimidate? It would be harder to get them. I don't even know where the fuck you would buy those. I've never seen them at like Academy or some kind of sporting goods store. Maybe they sell them. Maybe I've just never been looking for them. I don't know why the fuck I would. Maybe they do, but like it doesn't seem like a common thing they would sell. And second, it would be just as easy to get real bullets. You'd have to have a real gun any fucking way. I don't know why they would do that. Anyway, so there was that stuff, stupid BB gun stuff. People saying it was a false flag and all the usual dumb shit. Obviously, it wasn't like people were dead. Like you're telling me this was like some sort of inside job. They shot a guy. They shot the shooter. Some other guy was shot dead. I don't know where people came up with that, but whatever. That's obvious. That's going to happen every time. As far as the reactions to it, there was people. I think it's been a little bit over the top in certain ways. He's not dead, guys. Okay, he didn't die. He got grazed. I understand it is a big deal. It's a huge deal. It's terrible for a number of reasons. There's probably going to be backlash that the Trump people are fucking maniacs, and if you think this isn't going to set them off, you're fucking wrong. They're already going crazy. It's not going to do anything to help with stuff like that. Trump's probably going to win the election. I have no doubt. He was already going to win before this. If anything, the only way this could be damaging for him is that it took some of the news cycle off of Biden, because the whole news cycle before this was just, is Biden mentally competent to serve? Is he sentient? Is he awake? Can he be president? Can he finish another year? Are they going to replace him? Are they going to oust him? It was like nonstop for over a week just of that. So I guess you broke that news cycle, but Trump comes out of it looking kind of like a hero because he's survived this shot and stood up and pumped his fist and all this stuff. He gets a sympathy vote. And there's just like general calls for like toning down the rhetoric. It's a bit late for that, guys. Tone down the rhetoric. We're so divided and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's a little late, guys. It's a little late. Once the shots are being fired, I think we're past that. I think we're past that point. We have been for a fucking while now. It was always going to be like this. I've been saying this for, how long have I been saying this, that there was going to be violence in this election cycle, no matter who won? And obviously we haven't even got to the fucking election yet. Yeah, there's going to be more shit like this. There's going to be more shit. I don't know if it'll rise to this level. Like if you're gonna see, probably not. I imagine they're gonna beef the security way the fuck up, which is another thing people were talking shit about. Why the fuck? Why? Where's the? Well, how did this happen? How did this happen? That's a pretty good question. And I don't want to throw too much shit at the Secret Service. I'm not in the Secret Service. I'm not a fucking expert at this. It is a little crazy that a guy was able to get on a rooftop within 150 yards of a former president and the candidate of one of the major parties and take a shot at him. And honestly, from 150 yards away, that guy should have hit Trump. It's like a miracle that he missed. I could have hit him. I could have hit him multiple times from that distance. I've shot many times at much greater distances where, like, just to qualify, if you're in the army, you're shooting at distances up to, there's a range of targets between, I would say it's like 50 meters and 400 meters. And there's intervals every so often. So there's like 75-meter target, 100-meter target, 150-meter, 200-meter, I think 300 meters, and way out to 400. And they just like pop up sort of almost randomly. There's a pattern to it, but it'd be too hard to memorize. But they pop up and they're up for like 3 seconds. You take a shot. The 150-meter targets are not hard to hit. They're not fucking hard to hit. And it's not like a full body. It's like a little dude, like a, what do you call this? I think we called them Ivans. They're like little silhouettes of like half a person. So it is kind of a miracle that he's not dead. I don't know what that kid was. I guess it was, they've been saying a rifle. I think it was like some kind of like an AR-15, kind of like an M4 and M16 kind of rifle. Obviously, probably wouldn't have been one of those, but it could have been anything. It could have been a hunting rifle. Probably would have been better, honestly. So there is that. Like, how the fuck could this have happened? Because that was not like a difficult assassination attempt. It was a 20-year-old kid that single-handedly pulled this off, and honestly, he could have done it. It's only just pure luck that Trump's not dead. That's it. So there is that. There's some criticism to be leveled at them. A lot of people are going off that, the diversity hire stuff. There was all these women. I don't know, like whatever. It is kind of insane that they were able to do this. And I don't know. I've been seeing people go back and forth about like how much sympathy should we have for like, for Donald Trump and for Trump supporters. I do have sympathy for the supporters that were killed. I typically just think that they're just fucking idiots. And I don't really typically just blame random, like, rednecks who show up to a Trump rally that are like cheering it on. I don't view them as like, I don't view it as that much different from them attending a NASCAR rally. And I know it's political and they're supporting him and they should know better, but I honestly don't feel like they do. They see the guy on TV. They like what he has to say. I doubt there's really a lot more thought that goes into it than that for most people. As far as Donald Trump goes, I don't feel sorry for him, given everything he's done and how far he's pushed shit. I've called him a traitor before, so I don't feel sorry for him. I don't think he deserved to die. I think he probably deserves to be in prison. But and again, you could say, well, he hasn't broken any laws. It's like, okay, well, for one thing, maybe not. Maybe the presidential immunity thing gets him out of this. I don't really know. But when you go back to the whole 2020 election stuff, he tried to steal the fucking election, guys. He tried to have his vice president just hand him an election. He tried to like get votes dug up. It was fucked up shit. And if it's not illegal, it should be. And you should not be able to run for office. You should probably be in prison for doing the kind of shit that he did. And then for like letting his supporters attack the Capitol and doing nothing. That's like a failure of duty, at least. I don't know. I fucking hate the guy. So no, I don't feel sorry for him. Maybe I would if he was dead. I don't know. Probably not. I probably wouldn't. I feel sorry for the other people. They just got duped into being there. But I don't think he deserves to die. I don't think you should be doing vigilante justice type stuff and trying to act like you're fucking Batman and take the law into your own hands. Again, I don't know if that's what the guy was doing. I imagine it was something along those lines. I have no idea. Apparently the shooter was a registered Republican. I guess I already said that, but it was fucking weird shit. Um, yeah, it is terrible though. I do wish it hadn't had happened. Like I'm not shocked, but I don't think it's a good thing for anybody other than maybe Trump because he survived and it's going to be a political W for him. So I don't know. I guess I also don't really care because I don't like Biden either. I fucking hate that guy. I don't know if I'd call him a traitor. In certain ways, I think he's betrayed the country. I don't know if it's maybe I'm splitting hairs there. I don't know. Like when you dissolve the border and just like let anybody like just like get rid of the fucking border and the shit in Afghanistan. I think was really what pissed me off more than anything else. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else there is to say about it. It's a historical event. I don't know how much it's going to change. It'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. If there's going to be more shit like this, it'll be interesting to see the RNC. Those people are going to be like just bouncing off the fucking walls. And I've seen, I don't know, the number of takes I've seen on this from the right wing people who are like clutching their pearls over this now. And it's like, you guys were the same people. You were the same people that were running around and, saying that Nancy Pelosi's husband, who got, beaten in the head with a hammer, that this was just like some gay lovers quarrel. It just had nothing to do with politics or rhetoric or anything like that. It was a gay escort or something. So I like you people could go fuck off with the whole like, oh, you've got to feel so sorry for us and like send us your thoughts and prayers and stuff. Yeah, I'm not gonna say I'll give you this. I don't think he deserved to die, but he's not getting any thoughts or prayers. So yeah, you can fuck off with that. I did think it was interesting to see the some of the other reactions from the left wing. It was kind of surprising too. I don't know what they're gonna do though. Like, what else can you do? There's only a few options basically. There's the because anytime something like this happens where there's political violence from one side, the other side is kind of left sitting there with like, if it's coming from your own side, you're kind of stuck there with egg on your face. It's like, oh shit, if you're a right winger, it's like in some right winger goes out and commits an act of terrorism. You got a few ways to respond to it. In this case, it's probably a left winger. Again, I don't know. Could have been a nutcase, just random. I kind of doubt it. Let's say it was a left winger. There's only like a few options these people have. There's kind of what the media and a lot of people like that and Biden and even people like TYT. I saw some of them like Cenk Uygur and stuff say, oh, well, they just sort of like try and eat this spoonful of shit with a smile on their face and just try just hold their nose and take it down and just swallow the shit and get it over with. And, they say all the stuff that you're supposed to say, like, we hope it gets better. This is awful. There's no place in our country for political violence, and this should never happen. And Biden, called him up and talked to him, had a conversation. We're praying for all the victims, all this kind of stuff. So that's like the one response. The second, which I don't think is even possible in this case. Sometimes you see this though. You usually see it a lot more if it's some unknown person. They've done this with a lot of things actually. They just try and sweep it under the rug, downplay it, and ignore it. And they did this with a lot of like certain like black nationalist terrorist attacks I've seen, where they just sort of pretend like it didn't happen, but don't report it and stuff. There's no chance you're going to get away with that here. Maybe you could downplay it. You could say I was injured. Some people were complaining about this with the headlines. I think this was mostly bullshit, though. Some of the headlines were like, there was a shooting or something like that, and people were pissed that they didn't call it an assassination attempt. It just seemed like splitting hairs, like you're just trying to find something to be upset about. And then there's the final, kind of the third way people could respond to this, and some did, which is just I guess it's not doubling down. It's just like going balls to the wall with it, just like fuck it, we're going all the way. Yeah, it happened, and he deserved it. Is kind of the other reaction from people, where there's certain people who are like, yeah, it happened, he deserved it, and his supporters deserve whatever they get too. And I've seen a lot of that actually, which I don't really believe. I guess I'm somewhere in between there. I don't feel sorry for them, but I don't think I don't think Trump deserved to die. I do feel sorry for the supporters, but I have seen people saying that. There was a trending on Twitter. There was like I think "You Had One Job" was trending. People were upset that the shooter missed. It's kind of crazy. Can you imagine what would have happened if he had killed him on camera? It would it'd be bad. There'd be violence. It would make everything worse. I don't know why. I mean, I guess Trump wouldn't be president, so there would be that. Maybe get somebody else. And then there was I saw some people. Oh, it was I saw Destiny. He was going off on Twitter. Oh my god, you thought my TDS was bad? That motherfucker. Holy shit. He was he was saying he was one of the people saying, yeah, the Trump deserved it and his supporters deserve to die too. Basically, I don't know if I'm paraphrasing. He didn't I don't know that he said it exactly like that, but it was I think he said if you're a conservative fan of mine and you get shot dead at a Trump rally from a straight bullet, I'm going to post a picture of your corpse on the internet and laugh at you and mock you the next day. So, it's I not exactly saying that they deserve to die, but it's yeah, kind of 6 of one. It's kind of the same thing, I think. Uh, so there was a whole host of reactions on the left. The right wing is just all over themselves with this. And what else are you gonna do? This is like their January 6th, basically. They're you're never gonna hear the end of this from these people. Even though you know I do think it's a bit rich coming from them to talk about like the rhetoric and stuff, which I have harped on. The left wing saying it's going to be the end of democracy, calling him Hitler, all of that. I don't think they should be doing that because of shit like this, and he's not going to probably not going to get away with anything like that. Even though I think the shit he did before was fucked up. I think you could call him a traitor. That's fine. Maybe people would say that's too far, but he fucking is. So I don't know, like, unless you're going to lie about it. Uh, the people on the right have ratcheted up the rhetoric and shit too. I mean, Trump was calling to like throw people in jail in his first election. They were, I I can't tell you like how many times I've been in chats. Oh my god, I won't even get into this. This could get into trouble here. I've seen it from both sides on like in private conversations in Twitter chats and like voice calls and stuff of people like literally talking about like I won't get into it. Just horrible shit. Like you wouldn't fucking believe. So I don't think that there's anyone has a monopoly on like violent rhetoric at this point. And I guess like on the right, it's more. I don't know how you have anything to stand on. If you're going to complain about him saying democracy's over, you were saying the same thing. You were saying like they stole the election and it's the destruction of democracy. If I don't win the election, the country's going to be over. They say all the same shit. So it's not really any different when it comes from them, other than the fact that they don't have the bulk of the media on their side, repeating it and justifying it, uh, and giving it kind of a amplification. And they've had terrorist attacks. It's just nothing on this level. And by this level, I mean like this amount of prominence where they've like almost killed a president. Other than January 6th is probably the closest, but they didn't, they didn't kill anybody. They just ransacked the Capitol building. They got one of their own people killed. But you have seen a lot of like shootings and shit from them. But it's usually when it's the right wing doing it, it's usually like a kind of crazy branch of the right. Usually the racists. It's usually like some neo-Nazi, which is like, yeah, they're technically far right, but they're so kind of far removed from even the normal right wing echo chamber and kind of media sphere where they usually don't even like those people. They usually think like, Fox News is controlled by Jews or something. So it's a sort of a different thing from like the kind of like Antifa type people that might do something like this. I'm not saying he was Antifa. I'm just saying these kind of people might have done something like this. And they're just on a spectrum kind of between Joe Biden and the kind of Antifa guys that'll say we're falling to fascism. The rhetoric's almost the same. Like they basically, the mainstream left is saying it's like a fascist uprising and stuff. So I don't know. I think there's plenty of blame to go around. those are just some of my thoughts on this. I guess I'll stream again if anything important happens with the election. I didn't really plan on doing anything today other than I don't know. It's just like the biggest fucking news story I've seen in probably not my lifetime, but it's up to it's the top five. It's got to be top five, right? 9/11's number one probably. Uh, I don't really know what else would be up there. I mean, January 6th, maybe that's like top five. Also, I feel like I don't know. They're pretty close. Those are pretty close as far as just big news stories go in my mind. Capitol building getting ransacked, and then this. I don't know what else would be up there. Maybe if we land a guy on Mars, then I could have a positive one. Maybe the first human steps on Mars. That would be up there. But nothing like that has happened. So maybe I don't have a good top five list. I've never thought of it before. I'll have to sit down and think about that sometime. Anyway, that's all I've got. I don't know. Uh, share any opinions you have in the comments. I'll probably read them. Whatever. I'll stream next time there's any kind of news or election stuff. Maybe if Biden drops out, maybe I'll do a stream on that if that happens. Kind of forgot about that whole news story. It probably saved his campaign right here, actually. No one's talking about that anymore. And the clock's ticking. They've only got, I don't know, I guess they technically have until the middle of August. But realistically, this is probably their last week. If it doesn't happen this week, it's just not happening, in my view, unless he just decides to step down. Probably not happening. So we'll see. If nothing else, there's always another debate that's coming up. That should be interesting. Oh my God, that'll be interesting. I can't wait for that. Probably watch the RNC. I think that's going to happen tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to stream that, though, but I'll probably watch it. Anyway, I'll catch you later. Have a good night.